explaining as to everyone why we're actually on live.
Okay, let me just grab it up on my tablet. You going live on YouTube, yeah?
Yeah, I'm live on YouTube.
It's not coming up. Why is it not coming up? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Cool, I muted it so I can see questions. So, everyone, hi, YouTube, Zoom, and Instagram. We're on 3 different platforms. It's taken a little bit of working out to do that, and I have got a few cameras to look at here. But what we're doing is we're kind of trying to organise. This is the first time we've done it, so there's going to be a few issues, going to be a few problems, but we'll get through it. But today, I thought it'd be a good idea to show you guys a model's perspective, as in Lauren here, and myself as a photographer, and have a conversation about how to get started from a photographer's perspective and a model's perspective. But also, I'm going to be doing a live edit from a photo shoot that we did back in the end of January. I'm going to be editing one of the photographs live for you, so you can see what comes straight out my camera and how I edit it. So obviously, for those that are photographers, can see exactly what happens afterwards, basically, and how I edit. So I'm still getting a little bit of an echo.
Graham, I was just about to say, everyone won't be able to hear the echo, hopefully, because I've got my headphones in for you. But where I'm hiding the AirPods, no one can hear what I'm saying. Because they're connected, you see. So I think, unfortunately, I don't think there's a way around this.
Oh, okay.
It might be very frustrating for us both, but we might have to put up with it just for this
basically, for everyone that is watching and wants to see everything, if you're on Instagram right now, please head over to Lauren's YouTube channel. It's in the link tree, I believe, on your Instagram page.
In my bio.
Yeah, because if you're on Instagram, you're not going to be hearing any of, you're not going to be seeing any of the live edit or anything like that.
Yeah.
And if you guys have got any questions at all, put them up either on the Zoom chat, YouTube down here, or Instagram, and we'll try and get it. So we can't hear any echo.
No, yeah, that's good. It's just us.
It'll be the echo on YouTube. That's where we're going to get the echo, I think.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get through it. Well, you need another set of headphones with no mic to put into the phone.
Yeah.
But if we do another one, we'll get it sorted.
Mind you saying that.
You got another set of headphones?
Yes.
Will
this do the job?
Yeah. But for those that are watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see everything. So join over to YouTube if you can. I'm going to quickly share your YouTube on my Facebook as well.
Thank you.
So, but whilst I'm doing this, for those that don't know who Lauren is, but most of you will, just give us a brief outline of how you got started and what you're doing now, because you've got an influencer course, which is really great.
Yeah. So with modeling, which is obviously my main job, that's what I do most of the time. I got started when I was about age 15, I'd say. It was a family friend who was a photographer. He used to take portraits for my family, for my mum and of me, my siblings and the dogs and cats and the whole farm. Yeah, and he just, said to my mum that he thought I had really good potential, and he had a few jobs with brands lined up that he needed a model for. So he asked me if I wanted to, go ahead and shoot with him. And like at this time, like I was still in school and I was like really shy and nervous, and I thought, oh my god, no, I can't do this. But my mum was just like egging me on, like, no, you can do it, Lauren, like you're good enough, blah blah blah. So yeah, I did the shoot, and I was surprised with the photos and how well he made me look through the camera and posing and, everything else that goes into it. So from there, he wanted to build up his portfolio as well as create one for me. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started. We just went forward from there, and I started building a portfolio for myself. I ended up getting really into it. I wasn't very academic at school. I wasn't very clever, I thought. But I was always very creative. I love drawing, and this was kind of another way of making art, but using my body to create a form of art. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started, and I've been doing it since.
Okay, awesome. Just admitting someone else into the stop there. Right, still new.
Hi, Nora.
I hope. Kalisha, if you're watching, for some reason I can't put you. Played someone. Played non-participants. There we go. Found it. Sweet. So that's how you got started. So have I got? Sorry, I'm getting feedback again. Cool. So obviously we met back in October.
Yes.
Which was an interesting conversation. Because you thought we were going to have a quick chat about a photo shoot, and it turned out
I did.
We had about 2.5, nearly 3 hour conversation.
So much more.
It's interesting to see how much you've grown from then, because you've obviously now got the influencer course, which is great.
I think I was starting at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. What did you expect normally when you see a photographer? So I want to get it from your perspective to start with.
Yeah.
From your perspective, when you're meeting a photographer like myself for the first time, what goes through your head? What are you thinking? And that sort of thing. What is the way you approach it when you meet someone new that says, "Hi, I'd like your work. I want to take some photographs of you to build our portfolio." What is your first things that go through your head?
So the first things that go through my head are, is this guy or woman, professional photographer? Are they actually in it for the right reasons, or are they not quite who they say they are? Because, meeting anyone over the internet, which I did with you could have turned out to be, a nightmare. So you always want to try and check their websites. You want to ask them for links to their portfolio. You want to ask them, all the right things to just make sure that they do have a history in photography and that they're being genuine, not planning to kidnap you or anything. So you want to be safe. You want to ask if they've got any references, or if you can find them yourself on their website, on their portfolio links, anything like that, then that's great. It means you don't have to ask. So yeah, and then when I'm turning up to a location, when I'm meeting somebody new, I always make sure that I send either my boyfriend Ryan or a family member where I'm going, what time. It might seem like a bit much, but like I said, you can't risk this when you're meeting people over the internet you don't know. You pray that they're lovely and professional like you are, but like I said, you can't take the risk. So you do need to make sure that all the safety things are in place beforehand. And then obviously I'm behind that, I'm excited to meet someone new. I'm excited to see if our brains are gelling and our creative ideas are working well together.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the conversation and what we can produce together.
Cool. So from a photographer's perspective, the photographers that we've got here, what would you like to see from a photographer?
To be fair,
references you mentioned.
Yeah. So references are very important. So if you're reaching out to a model or you're in conversation, it's great just to give them to the model, forward them on, say, here's my references, here's examples of my work, take a look. But before meeting you, I don't think I've actually ever met a photographer, had a sit down chat about what we was going to do, over coffee or whatnot, jot down ideas, then do it. I've always kind of just met someone new on the shoot, doing a test shoot. So it was quite a different experience with you, but I liked it because, it just made sure everything was planned out. We were on the same pages. There was nothing that you thought, oh, well, I didn't know he was doing this style or this or that. And it allowed us to, be able to work together a lot more effectively, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's something I've learned over the years, because I started doing model portfolios and stuff. Probably the first one was like 18. So I'm not going to tell you how many years ago
Quite
that was. I'm not even going to do the maths. But I found out that when you go to a shoot, if without pre-meeting or a live chat or video chat, it leaves yourself open to misinterpretations. So I tend to always have either a video call or a face-to-face like what we did, just so that we know exactly what's happening on the day. And for me as a photographer, that you again are professional and you're keen to do this and you're excited, because the worst thing is when you get to a photo shoot, you're really pumped up to do it, you really want to get some great photographs, you've been planning it out, and then the model is just like late, or just not enthusiastic to do it, just sort of like, oh, just another guy taking photographs of me, sort of thing. So that's why I always do meetings now. I never do anything, and also I can judge someone by the meeting if the shoot's going to go well. And it's quite surprising how many models I try and meet, or other people I try and meet for a tea or a coffee or whatever quickly, and they just don't turn up. And they message me half an hour. Yeah, message me half hour later saying, "Oh, really sorry, completely forgot." Well, how does that look to me if I'm going to spend my time taking photographs of you? You didn't even turn up to the meeting, let alone a photo shoot. Especially if you hired out a studio or whatever, you don't get that money back. Especially that time as well. You could be doing something else. So that's why I've always.
Surprised by that.
Yeah, it's quite common. I've had.
Never dreamed of that.
Even when I did interviews for work experience, I've had it where people just don't turn up for the interviews for work experience. They just don't give me a reason or rhyme or message me. It's like they just don't turn up. I'm just like, I'm going to give you a potential job here in the photography industry, and they just don't turn up, and it's quite weird. So that's why I always recommend to photographers and yourself, models and other people, is to have a meeting beforehand, because then you can actually find out what they're like, and if you're going to gel. Because some people you just don't going to gel with, really.
No, well, not everyone's going to like you, or you might not like everyone. Someone just might be a bit offish to you. So it is important to have that meeting, just so you know how well you're going to get along in a working environment.
Yeah, exactly. So just give us a heads up, like you got your influencer course. How is that going? Where can people find out about it, and what are you doing with it at the moment?
Yeah, so the influencer course is going extremely well. I feel really chuffed to say that, because I just didn't think it would be anything of the sort of what it is now. And this is still only, the beginning. It's been like, I don't know, 7 months. I'm not very good with the maths. So I started, pitching it all together and drafting in October. I believe that I had my first customer maybe in December time. I had a lot of messages asking me how I became a model, how I get brands to send me things for free, how are you working with this brand, that brand? And I just thought, there's so much that I've done to be able to be in this position. So I would never be able to get it out all in one text. And for me to have helped those girls most effectively, I thought, why not just write up all the information that I've learned, and then girls can, be able to grab that for themselves and then teach themselves. And it's kind of weird because, like I said, I never did too well in school, and now I kind of find myself as kind of a teacher, which is really ironic. But it's going really well. So I get messages from girls, and then I send them the information. If they want to join, then we exchange details, and then they get sent the course. The course has got 48 pages in now, I believe, and it's still growing. And I've got a bunch of reviews that I would send in case you're a bit skeptic and you're wanting to see real girls' opinions on the course and if it's actually worked for them, which thank God it had so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, the course is growing. All the girls who have joined my course have got great collaborations. I mean, there's been girls on the course who have worked with Skinny Tan, which is the UK's biggest tanning brand.
Wow.
Lounge Underwear, which is a very big brand for underwear in the UK. yeah, so we're really branching out with the collaborations that these girls can get. I think being an influencer is something that a lot of girls are wanting to do nowadays, because it does seem so very luxurious, and getting this for free and that for free, and seeing all these posts turn up. Um,
Yeah.
but also, it's not for that. You have to be in it for the right reasons. Um, you've got to create content of these items. So if you're not a creative person, if you can't imagine great imagery, you don't have the effort, or you think, oh, it's too much,
Mm.
then it's probably not for you. So you kind of, have to keep at it. You have to be persistent. It's not an overnight thing. You don't just get brands working with you, straight away. But I've got a good group of girls on the course now, and they're all very determined to
Cool.
make it. And I am really proud of how far they've come in such a short amount of time.
Awesome. So just before we get started going through our shoot, um,
Yeah,
it might be that every time I talk, you might have to put the mic, the headphones in your hand or something.
got you.
We take turns in talking.
Got you. Yeah.
And then when you're talking, just have them out. And then when I'm talking, that way. That might work. So just before we start going through the photographs from the shoot that we did, what would you say is the number one thing for someone that wants to be like you in a way, to have this Instagram course? What is the one thing that you can say to get started? Like,
So to get started, I think it just comes down to, you have to find, what you're going to blog about. Firstly, what is it you're interested in? Is it fashion? Are you a mum who enjoys blogging about your children? Fitness, travel? Whatever your niche might be, you have to find your niche.
mm-hmm.
Which obviously I done. My niche is mainly modeling and fashion, because that's what I love, and that's what I know enough about to, be able to talk to people about. So that's really important, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, you just want to be making creative content. You don't want it all to be the same. You don't want to fit in with everyone else. So you need to kind of find your own style, whether that be working with a photographer like yourself to, help you find out what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting great content and being active is the first sort of, steps to really get your foot into the door with influencing. Or, influencing is a form of modeling.
Yeah.
You're doing all your own work, you're taking photos, modeling for big brands. So yeah, I'd say those are the kind of first steps that you should take.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is great help. I mean, you can Google anything on YouTube, just type it in and just teach yourself if you don't want, to have to pay a mentor.
Definitely. Well, YouTube's the second biggest search engine after Google.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
very helpful.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's one of the things I said to you when we first met up, is actually, what is your drive? Like, is it fashion? Is it blogging? Is it I don't know, the artistic side of the photographs? What is it you're trying to do? And I think that's what you said, is it's more for you, it's more blogging and more fashion than it
Yeah.
is about obviously we want to make beautiful images, but it's not about making these creative arty pieces. It's more fashion type stuff.
Yeah, and well, I like to be able to recommend to girls or even guys who might follow me or watch me or whatnot, what I'm into, and oh, this brand is promoting great fashion. It's high quality. It feels good. It looks good. Or it might be skincare products I do a bit of as well. Um, so yeah, I like that it's like a kind of a mini blog in a way,
Mm,
and I'm letting people know, as well as creating images, I'm letting people know, actually, is it worth the money? Should you buy it or not? So I
yeah.
kind of test it out for everyone.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you're basically a reviewer as well. That's the whole
I'm
point,
the
isn't it?
guinea pig.
Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen. It's going to take a couple of seconds. But for those that are on Instagram, I recommend you head over to either join our Zoom call, or if you join the YouTube channel, because otherwise you're literally just going to get my head, get the editing side, which is what we're going to talk about. So Lauren's YouTube channel is in her link tree, which is a link in her profile. So if you now go to Lauren's profile and then go to her YouTube, you'll be able to follow us live on there. Otherwise, you can follow us on Zoom as well. I'd like to.
Yes,
So
we just Oh, sorry. I was just going to let them know. So we're just going over photos that we've taken together on a shoot, and you're going to be showing them how you edit photos.
Exactly. So basically, I'm going to go through where we start. So straight after a photo shoot, I'm guessing it's going to be interesting for you as well. So
definitely,
I'm going to show you the photographs as they come out the camera, how I see them, and then take you right through to how the finished product will look. I'm probably going to go a bit quicker because I'm not as detailed as I would normally would, because it would take too long. Plus,
okay.
I don't want to stress my computer out.
Right. Yeah, with all those tabs open.
I know. Right, so I'm now going to share my screen. I can't see because I've got like cameras away. So you should be able to see my screen now.
It's just delayed by a few seconds.
Yeah.
So this is what it currently looks like on my laptop, if you was wondering. So yeah, if you head over to my Instagram profile, there's a link that you can click, and then it would show you my YouTube. And this is just us live at the minute on YouTube. And Graham's going to pull up images from our previous shoot and show you how he edits them. And we can be answering questions related to modelling and photography in the meantime.
Exactly. So hopefully everyone can hear us okay.
Ah, look at it.
Oh, hang on. I've just got to copy my mic over because people can't hear me.
So if you want to see how he edits photos, including little Milo is making his cameo, then head over to YouTube to watch that live. We're doing it right now.
So we have got quite a few people on YouTube already. So hi everyone on YouTube. If at any stage anyone's got any questions, just put them into the chat in YouTube, and we'll go from there.
Oh, Romeo! Oh, that was my other dog. Milo is so tiny there. He's literally massive now.
Yeah.
He just looks like a little baby there.
Awesome. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to head over to YouTube. I'll quickly up here. So for anyone that's interested, I do have my own Facebook page and Instagram account. So this is you can search Graham Bewley Beauty's Life, which is my Facebook page. And basically anyone that's looking to get into the creative industries, seems to be echoing a lot at the moment. Anyone that's looking to get into the creative. Whoa, that's echoing.
I'm trying to hold it. It should.
Okay, I'm just going to mute you for a second. That might help. So anyone that's looking to get into the creative, I can still hear myself. Weird. That's better. Right. So anyone that's looking to get into the creative industries can follow my page on Facebook and Instagram. What I'm going to be doing going forwards is to basically teach you guys how to get into the creative industries and how everything works. Let me just double check something. I just want. Okay. Oh, I'm getting feedback. So, and I think Lauren would agree that I've given you some tricks and tips going forwards in that field as well.
Yeah, you've given me a lot to be honest with you. Like when we were talking about when we had our sit down sessions, you know, when we first met each other, I mean, I came away from that meeting thinking I was going to grab a quick iced coffee and, you know, just talk about when the shoot was going to be. 2.5 hours later, I came out with all of these ideas and what I'm going to do. And it was just great.
You had sheets of paper. Like you'd written down so many notes.
I've still got them sheets. Yeah, I've literally still got them because I like to, you know, look back and refer to them.
Yeah.
But you did give me so much information. It was like so much more than just planning a shoot when I met up with you. I feel like you've actually helped me further myself as well with my modelling. I've got a message on YouTube. You're welcome. There's a comment on YouTube saying that I am muted.
You're muted. You should be back on now.
Okay. I like to, you know, look back. Yeah.
Have you got YouTube open?
Yeah.
Can you mute it? That's what the feedback is.
Oh, the YouTube is there's no sound playing on my YouTube. the sound's been off.
Okay, it's weird. Feedback is then. Don't know. Right. So. As long as anyone that's watching on YouTube at the moment, can you hear an echo of me? That's all.
Let us know in the comments.
Let me know. Chloe, she's muted. Oh, yeah. You're doing an amazing job, guys. Thank you. I just want to see if there is an echo. I can hear myself, and I don't know why.
It might be from the Instagram.
Must be. Right. So anyone on Instagram now, if you go to YouTube, we're just going to start editing. So I'm going to take one of these ears pieces out because it's frustrating me. What? So basically, I've gone through the photographs already, and I've taken out all the ones that I didn't think fit really for what we're doing. Maybe I've taken them out because the lighting wasn't right, but I've picked 10 here. Now, what I'm going to do is, so these photographs are straight out of camera. They haven't been edited at all. They've literally gone from my camera straight into what I call, what I use is Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom. So I'm going to get you guys and Lauren to pick which photograph that we're going to edit live tonight. So it's completely up to you. We've only probably got time to do one, but there's 10 here. So if we literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
As a 10. So in the comments, either on Instagram or on the live chat, then put in which photograph you would like. So obviously Lauren's holding up her laptop now, so you can see.
So come over to the YouTube and you'll be able to watch us edit one of these images from our previous shoot. Comment what one you'd like us to edit. Well, Graham to edit.
Okay.
I'm no good at that myself.
There is an echo. Number 5, Shelley's saying.
It looks like I'm smiling at myself. I'm smiling at the dog because he's just so different now. And that's literally when I first got him. No. Oh, he looks so cute and fluffy there. He's so fat now. I feed him like a roast every time we have one, and steak, and he's just a little chubby.
Have a quick look whilst everyone's commenting, just to see if there's a way of muting me on your Instagram.
Okie dokie.
This is really, really echoey.
See, I can't actually hear you coming out of my Instagram at all.
Wonder where those come from then.
Because look, if I let go of these headphones, now you talk.
Hello. Yeah.
Is that more echoey?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, but without that, I can't hear you. Like when I'm holding them, I can't hear anything coming out.
But the microphone's still picking up in the earbuds. Okay. Unless we stop the Instagram and tell everyone to go to YouTube.
Yeah, that might be a good. Okay.
I think that's the only way we're going to get rid of the echo, because I'm going to be talking quite a lot now for the next half an hour.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, guys, we're going to go over to the YouTube now and just be live on there because there is a slight echo on here, and it's quite annoying, and I don't want you to be annoyed. Yeah. But yeah, come over to my YouTube account. The YouTube is in my link on my Instagram bio, and you'll be able to see us editing one of these photos from our previous shoot.
The other thing is, what we can do, rather than stopping the live video, I duck out. And you just go live on your own. That's the way to do it.
Okay, yeah, that could be good.
And then you can just tell anyone that comes live on your YouTube, on your Instagram, to go over to YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to duck out of Instagram because we've got a problem with echo. Someone's saying, so I'll catch you guys over on YouTube.
See you there.
Right, I'm going to leave you on Instagram. Cool.
Okie dokie.
Hello.
Hello.
Echo.
I didn't think it was the Instagram.
Hello, hello. Right. Still picking myself up. I don't know where. Right, guys, if you're on YouTube, can you let me know if you are still getting an echo? I think I fixed it now. I think there's a delay on Instagram, so I can't hear an echo now myself. So I just want to double check. So we've got Shelby saying number 5, and Love Stars is saying number 7 at the moment.
Okay, so number 5
or number 7. Anyone else got any idea?
Can I put a suggestion forward?
Go on then, you put a suggestion forward.
I like number 10 because it's quite candid.
I left that one in there
now it's probably
we have such a laugh on our photo shoots, I think, sometimes.
We generally do.
It's normally something going wrong, or the dog peeing on something, or
yeah, and I think that's what was happening a lot, and you was trying to make the dog laugh a lot.
Yeah.
But instead it was making me laugh. Not laugh, the dog look.
Yeah. Awesome. Kalisha's now on YouTube. So Kalisha said number 3. Ellen, no echo. Good, thank you, Ellen. Thanks for letting us know. Cool. So number 3. So we've got 5, 3, 7. Ellen sent 5 as well. So that's 2 for 5.
Or maybe we should have to go for 5 then.
We have to go for 5. I think if we don't get any more people in the chat, I think we have to go for 5. 2 more seconds. Okay, I think we have to go for 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Had to be one with Milo though, didn't it?
It did. Milo gets the votes.
So this, so to give you a bit of background on the photo shoot itself, for those that are photographers that are watching, or those that are generally interested, we actually did this in your living room.
We did. Not much space.
No. So basically, what we had to do, I'm going to turn my mic down a bit. Loud. Is we had to move everything out the way. I'm getting a bit of an echo again. Maybe it's your headset. Maybe if you.
Yeah, I did just turn it up so I could hear you more.
Ah, okay. Maybe that's what it is. You need to just turn it down a little bit in your earpiece.
Yeah. That's probably.
So we did this in your living room. So we didn't have a lot of space. We had to clear everything out the way, and you were decorating at the time.
Yes.
And you realised how much stuff that I carry.
I was very shocked. I believe I had no flooring down either.
No, you didn't. No, you were completely redecorating or whatever your living room. So,
yeah.
Shelley said 10 is cute too. Oh, it is cute.
Oh, thank you. It's Milo.
So this photograph we did in your living room. So we didn't hire a studio or anything special or anything like that. It was literally just in your living room. I got a brand new background at the time. So this is a background from Kate Backdrops, who are a really good company, really cheap backdrops are really good quality, and they're made out of a material, so they're easy to pack up. It does fold easy, which is why you can see it folds. We had a reflector, which you can just see the edge of down here, and I had one, I believe it was just one light, a beauty dish, a 55cm beauty dish up here, which was which had a grid on and a soft cover on it as well, for those that are interested. So this is literally straight out of my camera. So this is what I try and get straight out of my camera. As you can see, none of the settings have changed here. I haven't touched this at all. It's exactly what my camera gets. And this is the quality already that you can get from the camera. I don't know how clear that is on YouTube for you guys, or you, Lauren.
To be fair, it's quite clear, but it doesn't show its full potential.
No, it's obviously going to be a little bit different. So the first thing I would normally do. So first of all, what do you think of this photograph, Lauren, as it is at the moment? This is like what it comes straight out of camera.
I think that the heavy makeup translated well on camera.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I always have to do a lot more makeup for shoots, because if you do your standard everyday makeup that you'd go out of the house in, when you're on a shoot, the lights will wash you out and it will look like you don't have much makeup on. So always go heavier on the makeup for photo shoots. If they are indoors, if they're outside, then do your normal one. But if they're indoors, make sure that you go heavier. Um, but yeah, also one thing you mentioned about your backdrop, which I think is really important to say. I've worked with people before and their backdrop has been very thin material and been very creased, and it shows up a lot in photos, and I believe it's very hard to edit out. I'm not a photographer myself, but I can imagine it makes the job harder. Whereas where your backdrop was, a lot thicker, there's really no creases in it,
This
which
is
makes all the difference.
This one was really, really thick. It's not as many creases, and I try not to fold it into the same place because it's a slightly thicker material, kind of like a velvety material, which is really cool. And I love them as well. They're super good value and they're washable, so which is really cool. So first thing I've done there is I'm just cropping it in. I've just taken away the reflector which I caught on the bottom here. And I've just cropped it into roughly where I want it. Now, because this is kind of a bit more fashion-y type thing, I tend to come a little bit closer on the top of the head here than I would normally for a portrait. Because obviously normally when you're doing a portrait, the head's the one thing that you really want shot. Whereas here, I want the outfit. So we're really pushing the outfit because you're a fashion blogger and that sort of thing. We want to push the outfit.
Yeah.
And this a jump? I can't remember where this jumper came from. Whether you got
this was a gifted. Yeah, that was a gifted jumper. I'm just got a few new joiners on my live, so I'm just going to quickly let them know that if they want to see the editing process of a photo shoot that I did with Graham, then go on to my link in my bio to my YouTube account. And on YouTube, we're currently live, and you'll be able to hear both of us and see the editing process. Sorry for interrupting you.
That's right, you go ahead. Basically, the next thing I'm going to do is quickly just sort out the lighting a little bit.
Okay.
I quite like the contrast. I really like beauty dishes for these kind of shots because they bring in a lot of contrast already. So I'm just going to add in a bit more blacks. I'm literally just going to push some of the detail, the shadows. I'm not actually going to do too much with this because the image is already popping, but the white balance is off. My computer's a little bit slower because I'm actually streaming this at the same time.
Do you know what? I love that beauty dish. I'd never used one before I worked with you, and we used it on a few occasions, haven't we? Well, it was the same day, but different shots.
Different shots.
And it worked really well.
And on the training course we did as well.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find a nice grey. There we go, probably about there. Still a bit warm. So I've just got rid of that red a little bit too much. Now I do have an actual board that does this. I'm actually going to use keyboard and mouse because I don't want to complicate anything too much. So you can see this is before and this is after. There's a little bit of a red tinge. I don't know how well this is coming across on YouTube at all. I've added a bit more.
Yeah, I can see the difference.
The difference. And it's a bit more warmer. I'll add a bit more warmth to your face there.
Give me the tan.
Give you a tan, yeah. Clarity. I'm going to move up the vibrance. Saturation down just a... My preference is always to desaturate a little vibrant. Because the other colours I'll pop out later. I'm just going to put this into Photoshop as well. So, colour wise, I'm not too far. A little bit of red still in here, so I might remove some of the red.
So with editing models, retouching wise, what do you tend to do?
So the starting process is I'll start in Lightroom here. So I'll just do a quick sort of go through if there's anything majorly wrong. I'm only really looking at I'm not going to do any sharpening or anything because I know I'm going to put this into Photoshop. And if I was just doing a quick edit, Lightroom's good because I can put everything in Lightroom and just quickly get it done. But Photoshop allows me to do a lot more. I'll get into in a moment. But the first stage for me is just sorting out any errors with the lighting. So obviously I tend to set up my lighting, but I tend to get models and people to move. So sometimes the lighting is not 100% how I want it, because you're moving, you're fidgeting, you're getting different shots and stuff. So the lighting might not be exactly where I wanted it, but that's not a problem, because obviously with Photoshop and stuff, we can tweak things. If there's shadows where I don't want them and stuff like that, we can sort them out. So generally speaking, this is one of the photo shoots. There's not a lot I want to do in Lightroom here with this photograph, because most of it I'm going to do in Photoshop. I might just add a bit vignette, so I'm darkening the corners, because I want the highlight in this to be here in the centre of your face, down to your sort of arm, obviously around Milo. Cool. Back a little. So I haven't done much in Lightroom, because I know I'm going to do most of the work in Photoshop. I haven't done any color grading, anything like that. If I was just doing a quick edit, and I didn't want to do anything else, I'm just going to move my phone out of the way, because I'm not. I'll put that down there. Because I'm not really doing. I know this is going to go in Photoshop. I don't want to do too much in Lightroom, because I can do it so much better in Photoshop, and I always come back to Lightroom at the end anyway. So there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. So there's not much I've done here, because because I'm working with you, professional model, that I've got time to set up the lighting properly. Whereas when I'm working with kids or anything like that, there's a lot more to do, because the lighting might not be spot on. So you can see here in the two different images, I haven't done much at all in Lightroom. I've literally made sure that the colour's right. I've taken out that red tinge a bit. It's a bit warmer, and I've darkened the corners, just started darkening it down in the corners. I'm not going to do too much more. I brought up the shadows just so I can get a bit more detail in these areas here, and on Milo as well.
Oh yeah.
He's a little bit making sure nothing's really beat out on the highlights for those that use Lightroom. So what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to open this in Photoshop. So you might have to bear with me, because my computer's going to be a bit slow.
Okie dokie. I'm just going to do a little video for the Insta story, just to let everybody know what we're up to. Cool. I've ended the live video, because I found that there wasn't any watches anymore. People were probably getting bored of seeing my resting face. Right. Let's do a little promo video. Hi guys, so at the minute I'm currently going live with Graham Bewley on my YouTube channel. So if you wanted to check that out, go to my link on my Instagram profile, click the link, and then it will take you to my YouTube. And we're just going through the process of how Graham edits photos. He's using photos from a shoot that we've done together. So if you want to see into all that, answer questions to do with modeling or photography, if you're wanting to get into the industry, then head over now. I always stutter so much.
You're getting better. Like, it's so hard when people start with social media, Instagram, all that kind of thing. It's just so much.
It's very hard.
Yeah. It's going to take a while. I'm just going to give it a second, because it's going to take a while to come through.
Oh, yeah. We've had one person share a video of us going live to their story.
Oh, awesome. Whilst we're just waiting for this load, do it. Go ahead. That'd be great. My Instagram, for people that don't know, it's Bewley's Life.
Yeah.
It's still fairly new, because I really want to help people like Laura, and like your followers, like other photographers, whatever creative industry you want to get into. I think it's incredibly key that people start learning how to create a creative create a creative side hustle. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Because I think in the next 10, 15 years, the workplace is completely change.
I agree.
I think people are going to have multiple forms of income. And if you've got a creative talent, which everyone has some form, whether it's music, photography, modeling, painting, drawing, you're really good at drawing as well. Everyone's got a creative, whatever it is, creative spreadsheets, whatever you're interested in doing, video, then now is the time to start learning how to maybe make a bit of extra money from that creative industry. So that's basically what I'm trying to help people do, try and set up this year, as well as running my photography company. So I'm showing people behind the scenes of my photography company and also setting up a new one as well. My phone's going crazy now. Right, I think this is stabilized. So this is the photograph. I've now put it in to Photoshop. I seem to be getting a little bit of an echo again. Might be a headset. So the first thing I do, one, I go into Photoshop, is I'll go through and see if there's any blemishes, any skin details, spots or anything like that I want to instantly get rid of. So there's a healing brush tool. So what I do is I'll write in here. It's going to be a bit laggy. So this is how detailed. I'm not going to do all of them. It's going to take a while. Then we see my computer crashing. Under the strain, I need a new computer. It's my key thing for the end of this year, is to get a new computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of these minor.
Oh God. I've only just seen like pull up. God, your camera does show everything. Okay, maybe it's a bit too good quality.
Exactly. Well, these photographs can be basically blown up to about 50 inches, anywhere between 40 to 50 inches. So imagine how big that is. The better the cameras are getting, the more editing has to be done, because the detail. I think when HD came out, I remember being at university when we were talking about HD and 4K. Well, not even necessarily 4K, but definitely HD wasn't even around yet. And they were saying that makeup artists on television were having to use film techniques because the detail is getting so good with HD that they're having to change the way they do makeup, which is actually really cool.
But you know what though, this is important, to be sharing this as well, because I've seen a lot of people when they just completely smooth over like all their blemishes and stuff, and like blemishes are such a normal, natural thing for everyone to have. Everyone's got fine lines. Like you can see that I've got a Y on my forehead. Everyone's got scars, so it's not about completely removing it. It's just about, perfecting it to how you like. But, spots are normal, spots are fine. So if you're happy with that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm not going to get rid of anything that's generally I have a 2-week rule. So if anything was there not going to be there 2 weeks later, I probably wouldn't get rid of it. Obviously, like some skin bumps and stuff like that, I'm going to get rid of. And also I can see here just where the makeup hasn't come across as well. Like there's areas in the makeup, whether that's from the lighting or it's just been brushed off slightly, or bad application. I might just want to get rid of. I might just want to like touch up the color, but that's something. When it comes to editing, when I do editing, it's generally what could you be doing with makeup? What are you trying to achieve with makeup? I'm just enhancing it, like getting rid of the color patches in here. So skin spots. If I was to take this photograph 2 weeks later, that wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? And also, you kind of want a bit of texture in the skin. Like
I like that.
I see all these photographs
to look natural still.
Exactly. And this is a fashion piece, not a beauty piece. If you were doing a makeup thing, they want it to be absolutely perfect. It's a lot slower than I normally would work. I'd probably do this process in about 5 minutes tops. But my computer is actually running really slow because I'm broadcasting this well, so this is eating up my computer speed. Even now, like I usually used to watch YouTube on my computer, and whilst I'm editing, I now do that on my tablet just to save processing speed. So even here, like this, just to make up, lipstick's gone a little bit smudgy there.
Yeah, that always happens with lip gloss.
Yeah, so
always gets everywhere.
Again, this is something you could have done in real life, but we didn't notice it at the time.
You don't always notice, no.
Yeah. So,
and obviously, like you say, when working with children or example animals, like we was working with the dog, it's a bit more difficult and you're a bit more challenged. So you don't always think of yourself. Trying to obviously help everything else go right.
Yeah, exactly. If anyone's got any questions, obviously please put them in the chat on YouTube. I'm allowing Lauren to be co-host, so if anyone wants to join the Zoom call, they can join the Zoom call. It'll be a lot clearer picture, hopefully on the Zoom call as well. You might need to, that invitation I sent you, Lauren, you might, if you put it in the chat in the YouTube.
Okay. I will do that now. It's a lot clearer. Oh my god, so much clearer.
What, on YouTube or
on Zoom?
On Zoom, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so I've just put the link in the live chat on YouTube. So if you did want to watch it through Zoom, the quality is a lot clearer. And you can literally see every single blackhead I have. So if that interests you, then join our Zoom call.
And if you've got any questions, put them in the chat, and then Lauren's going to read them out to me. If you've got any questions for me or Lauren with regards to modelling.
About modelling or photography.
So generally, what puts you at ease on a photo shoot? What do you think photographers, from a photographer's perspective, puts people at ease?
Well, so for me, what photographers can do to help me be at ease,
so if a photographer was to approach you and have a photo shoot, what would you put you at ease? What's a good icebreaker you find that makes you just settle down? What tips can photographers have?
Music, you know. I feel like, posing with someone you've only just met, or anyone, maybe if you have worked with them a few times, having a bit of music on that you both enjoy, it just helps you both loosen up. I don't think people actually realise how much music does help. So it's really important to have, a good fun playlist going, or even if it's just the radio, any type of music playing in the background, that definitely helps me a lot.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. What puts puts you off?
Oh, sorry.
What puts you off? Like you go, oh, why has he just said that? Like,
so a few like I said earlier on in the Instagram live about being careful with who you work with and stuff, a few photographers I've worked with before haven't been the most professional. It's never ended in a disaster or anything, but they say things that isn't professional. At the end of the day, you want to have fun on a photo shoot, but you also have to keep that professional relationship there, unless obviously it's very clear that you're past that. But no comments that just aren't needed. I don't know how well to say it without saying too much.
I know what you mean.
But
I think the general rule is
professional.
Yeah, I think the general rule is like I would never, unless I know someone incredibly well and I know how they're gonna react, then I would never mention anything about someone's body.
That's a big part.
That's a big part. I generally say something about the hair, the makeup, the clothing, the color choice, whatever. Because I think one of the key things is also keep complimenting what the model's doing. I don't know if that's
that's very, very helpful.
If you say that works, so I love it. It's great. Keeps the vibe going.
Because if it's quiet and you're not saying nothing, I'm sitting there thinking like, I'm wondering like, oh my god, am I doing well? Like, is he thinking I'm messing up? Or and I know some photographers might just be concentrating, but it's also good just to remind yourself like, oh, actually I'm going to tell her she's doing a good job, and like that this outfit looks great, like that, hold that pose or whatever it might be, because just keeping that conversation open really just puts me at ease, and I can probably guess a lot of other models, if they know they're doing a good job, they're going to carry on doing that.
Yeah, exactly. It might even be the photograph isn't necessarily the best. Especially, I tend to find the first depending on who you're working with, the first sort of 20, 30 photographs you do are probably going to be okay. They're not going to be the ones you're going to keep. I tend to find the best
Yeah.
images are near the end because you're a lot more
Yeah.
relaxed, hopefully, the model and the
Yeah, I
photographer.
agree.
But I tend to stay, you know, like I said, unless I know someone really well, I won't make compliments about their body shape or anything like that. I generally
Don't make
just
it personal, I think.
Mm.
I think you can compliment someone without it being personal. Like you said, you can compliment the makeup and it shows up well on camera, or the outfit flows nicely. You don't have to say like, "Oh my god, your body is so this or
like,
that."
oh, that's a great pose. Your hands look, you know, your placement's really good there. Let me just move the hands further forwards.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
that sort of thing. Yeah. Because until you know what someone's like even with my friends, like I've got certain friends that, you know, you can tell certain rude jokes to, and there's some friends you can't. You know, it's kind of the same sort of thing, isn't it?
It's just if you definitely know how that person's going to react and you've worked with each other for years, then I think that's fine, because you do, you know, if you've worked with them for years, you build that kind of friendship where you know their limits. But if you don't know someone that well and you don't know how they take your compliment or joke or whatever, then it's probably best not to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so I've just done this a quick once over, got rid of all the blemishes. So this is afterwards. I'm just going to give you, if you want to double check, I can't really see Zoom at the moment, so you're going to have to check the participants.
Yeah.
That's the one going in. So this is before, and this is after. Before, after. So I've just taken a few of those little blemishes out. There's little bumps.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, I've also taken this hair out because it's, I don't like it there. I want it to be nice and clear. I've taken that out. Generally, the makeup was pretty good here anyway, so it covered up a lot of the blemishes. Like, it's quite smooth. Like you said, you put on a lot of heavy makeup, which does really help as well.
Chloe said, "Oh, my lashes real." No, they're not. I like to wear. Well, this is actually a really good tip for any models. Even if you don't like wearing eyelashes in day-to-day life, which I don't, I used to never wear lashes on shoots, and I used to look at my eyes and they look kind of dull, and you know your eyelashes just sink back in and they don't show up well on camera. So what I do for photo shoots now is I get lashes like that could look like they're real because they're quite natural looking, but they're just, you know, long enough to show up on camera and give your eye more definition. So no, they're fake, but I like to go for natural looking fake eyelashes.
Yeah. Right, so that's the first stage. I'll just go through, make sure that any little bumps, any spots, anything like that, anything that wouldn't be there 2 weeks later, I've sort of taken care of. I've left quite a bit of the texture in as well.
Yeah.
Just double checking my messages and bits. So the next stage that I would do, it's you commenting on the Instagram. So the next stage is it's just coming up. All that, and my volume died down.
I'm just gonna plug my laptop charger.
Yeah, don't run out of battery because you're the one streaming. So the next stage is what they call frequency separation. Now this is where you separate the texture from the color. There is still a little bit of color in the texture, and there's still a little bit of texture in the color, but now to a certain degree the texture of your skin is separate from the color. So this layer here, labeled texture, has all your texture in it. This is what it would look like without any texture in it. And then this is the color or tones. So if I took that out, it's gonna look really weird. So there you go. There's still a little bit of color in the texture. Anyway, what this allows me to do is this allows me to touch up your makeup. So these patches here where the makeup hasn't been applied evenly, I can just jump into the color, circle it, and drag it over to an area that I like.
Oh, that's very clever.
So basically this stage is sorting out any color tones or makeup issues or anything like that. But you can literally get someone that's barefaced and do a load of makeup on her.
Also, I used to do this eyebrow technique. If any girls are watching, then they probably would know. Soap brows. So when I was brushing my eyebrow hairs up, it removed a lot of the makeup above the eyebrow. You can probably see the slight white marks. So yeah, I don't do that anymore.
I don't do that anymore. Is that to make the eyebrows stand out a little bit? Is that or?
Yeah, it's just to make him look longer and give him more definition. But yeah, I got bored of that technique.
I think on photo shoots doesn't really work. I think maybe on Instagram and stuff like that, it might help because the photographs aren't as detailed.
But here, at the front of the brow, it kind of looks all right, but like it just. If you can look at my hairs above, the very light white blonde hairs, you can see them all sticking up, and they wouldn't normally do that. You wouldn't normally see them.
Oh, okay.
So that's because of the awful brow technique I done.
There you go. Everyone lives and learns.
Lesson learned.
You got to show. You got to share your mistakes as well.
I thought it looked great, and now seeing it back, I'm thinking, oh God, Lauren, what are you thinking? Not every trend is a trend.
Yeah, exactly. So. All I've done here so far is I've touched in those white bits. You see the difference there.
Oh yeah, that looks much better.
Yeah. So I think you probably maybe brushed your hair here or something and took some of the makeup off. I imagine.
Yeah, probably.
I'm basically evening out the skin tone, just the colour really. That's basically what you're doing with blush, with makeup anyway.
Yeah.
So. But the rest of the face is actually really good. Like when you get good makeup like this, or thick makeup, definitely when you're doing photo shoots with models and stuff, it's good to have thicker makeup on for the.
Not that I want you to, but do you know on the roots of the hair, is that a possible Photoshop? Is that a thing?
What's that? Roots of the what here?
Yeah, so you know when girls haven't got their hair done in a while and their roots grow back darker? Is that a Lightroom thing or not? Photoshop.
Oh, what here? I mean the roots darker than
Yeah.
Yeah, you could colour this in and make it so that is blonde all the way through. That's for sure. You could definitely do that.
Oh my God. That's so clever.
I might be able to do a rough version of it here with this technique. So if I was to say I want to colour this bit in, I use the colour from over here.
Oh, you drag it up.
I just layer it across. This isn't a brilliant technique. But, for instance, now, that part of the hair is now even. So if I was to take this on and off, you can see that I filled in the colour in the hair, which is there. So I might leave that actually. Level it off.
Photoshop is so clever.
You'd never know. There's a bit of a highlight here now. It's getting more and more intuitive as well. I can't remember what they call it now. Is it Samurai or something like that? It's the name of Adobe's AI. I can't remember what it's called now. Someone remind me in a minute. So that's the first stage. The second stage, I'll start doing the colour, and also I'll look at any texture issues. So you just got, again, this is not necessarily for skin spots or anything like that. Any sort of things where there's hairs where I don't want it to be. Any small texture issues that I've missed out. So you've got a dark bit here, so I might go back to the colours just quickly. Take that out, make it a bit softer. Here you can see it. I don't know how detailed this is, but there's a bit of a colour issue here.
Yeah.
And just evening out the tones basically. It looks quite soft anyway. And then obviously I'm going to look at your hands, because I think you also had that tan product, that tanning product you were using at the time. Yeah. And obviously it's very easy to miss patches.
Yeah, definitely. See, the thing is, when you're under those bright lights, it brings up everything that's not gone right. But when you're in normal lighting, you might not be able to tell. Especially if you've got dark lighting in your house or wherever you're applying the tan. So as you can see there, like on my thumb, It's very light compared to the rest of my hand.
Yeah. So I'm just going to bring this, even it across a little bit.
My hands look dry as well, girl. I need to moisturize.
So I'm just evening out the skin here. So if I turn this on and off, you just see the difference there.
Oh, that is so good.
Like
such
all I've
subtle
done,
changes as well.
It's all about such. I don't try and do too much big changes in terms of the look or anything like that. I try and do as much. I'm old school because I started on film. That I try and get as much right in the camera as possible. So even when I was in Lightroom earlier, before I'd done anything, the lighting's pretty good there. It's not always the case. So that's the difference there. So I've just filled in color here, and as a request, just to show you, you can sort out roots and stuff like that as well. So I've leveled that off a little bit. I'm going to darken those bits in a second. So I'm pretty happy with this. There's a little. I've just noticed this bit of a makeup stain.
Oh no, that's not going to be very good for the brand.
No, so this is again an easy fix. I can just, again, it's part of the texture. I just need to. I think when it comes to Photoshop, if you're learning Photoshop now compared to when it was, it's learning about which tool is best for what problem, and knowing where to get references from. Just cleaning this up, because I always imagine that because this can be blown up to 50 inches, I always imagine it's going to be.
And what will you be able to see if it is?
What will you be able to see if it is? Not just for Instagram. If this was Instagram, you wouldn't really worry about this too much. So I'm just going to do the color now.
This is so interesting to watch. You need to do more of these.
I think we should, yeah. Cool. So there we go. Just got rid of that. See the difference there. Just where your makeup is smudged. Top.
Looks so much better.
Cool. So it's little details. Just went through. So what I might do now, quickly before I do anything else, is I'm just going to clean up this background where the creases are. So I'm not going to do. I quite like the texture. I'm going to take the texture and put these creases where it was in my bag. Again, they're really quick and easy to take out using the patch tool. One here.
Did you teach yourself how to use Photoshop, or was it videos or mentoring, or what was it?
A mixture of everything. I started using Photoshop when I was at school when I was 16. Like I think it was like version 4 or 5 of Photoshop, because I think it started in the early 90s. The first version, it was incredibly basic. So I've been using Photoshop now for 18 years.
Well, long time.
Yeah, so you can work out from that at my age. But I've been I think because I've started from very basic beginnings before Lightroom was around, the Photoshop was very basic, that every time there's a new version, it's been very easy for me to adapt. I think if you was going into Photoshop now, it's like a minefield. There's so many tools in here now. It's unbelievable.
I mean, looking at it blows my mind. It could be great for Instagram for the things that I would need it for, like for example the root touch up or any makeup, but it just looks overwhelming to even like grasp the concept.
And now I think what I do is there's so many plugins, there's so many apps and stuff you can put into Photoshop, and one I'm going to show you in a second, which I use for my colouring, because one of the things I'm currently learning at the moment is more colour theory and advanced colour theory, but there's an application you can get called Infinity Color, which was designed by a guy or worked with a guy who specializes in color theory and what colors work together, and it's incredibly good. I've been using that to advance my photographs a bit, which I'll show you, which is like one of the final touches I do. So I'm just getting rid of these creases. Probably not going to do two more. There's one more here. So now the background's fine. Obviously, normally I'd be doing this a lot quicker. computer is jumpy. Is there any questions at the moment? I don't think.
No new questions at the moment. No new joiners.
Cool. What I think, if people that are watching do want to do, maybe when we finish this edit, we open up the Zoom call to everyone who wants to join in and do a Q&A session in the Zoom call. Maybe that'd be an idea.
Yeah, that could be very interesting.
Yeah.
I can't believe how detailed your camera is. When you're on the sleeve, you can literally see like the little hairs sticking up.
Yeah, that's
the
if I zoom right in. So this is at full zoom. So if I was to print this 50 inches, this is the level of detail you'd get. I've even just seen there's a bit of a mistake.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Photoshop wise, teaching, I've done YouTube videos, I've done books. I think books when I was first starting was the only way you could learn because YouTube wasn't around. There's no way of learning apart from, because YouTube didn't really get big until the late 90s. No, mid noughties really. So there wasn't really many people using it at the start. So I learned a lot from books. There's a guy called Scott Kelby who's still around. He owns Kelby One, which is a training platform for photographers and creative people. And they're really, really good. And he used to write tons of books. I've probably had about, over the years, 25 plus books from him that have been written by him.
That's really good then.
Because of every version that Photoshop comes out, he used to bring out a new book, and Adobe used to bring out a new book alongside the new version. But Scott Kelby's one used to outsell it by far. So it's actually better than the Adobe's own book, I found. A lot less technical and a lot more intuitive. There we go. Anyway, so that's just the background cleaning. Now what I do next, which is a bit more creative, is I do what they call dodge and burn. So it sounds a bit weird.
Well, I've heard that term.
Dodge and burn. This is where I basically shape the light a little bit more how I like it. So I might touch up the shadows. I really want your face to pop in this photograph, so I'm going to bring out some of the highlights a bit more, bring in the shadows, and maybe pop your eyes. Just, it's subtle differences, but it makes a huge amount of difference. And I think a lot of people, this is the step they miss out, and this is where they'll leave this photograph like this, which is fine if that's what you're going for. But for me, I like to just make sure the shadows and the shape, you're really shaping light, and we use dodge and burn.
Making my cheekbones pop with some more shadows, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what you do with makeup. Here, what I'm going to do is, so we do it in black and white because we don't want to be distracted by color.
Got you.
So I'm going to start by burning. So I'm going to make sure my settings are right. Yep. So for your hair, for instance, I'm just going to go over your hair and fill in some of the shadows here. I really want to define certain areas. I really want to give you some shape. So
is burning shadows then?
Burning is basically darkening. Yeah, it's like you're actually burning the image. This is actually the names actually come from a film technique. So people used to say, "Oh, back in the day when you had film, you didn't used to do as much editing as you do now," which is true, but there was still editing that went on. Just no one saw it. Like burning was actually where you burnt the film. You exposed it to more light. It would get darker. It's obviously a negative's opposite. So you expose it to more light.
Just gonna quickly turn my lights on. It's getting a bit dark.
It's a bit dark in there.
Here we go.
So all I'm doing here is going through the shadows. I'll show you in a minute what I've done. Probably can't see a lot at the moment. It's very subtle. So I'm going to go over your eyebrows just a little bit. And this is the reason why we do it black and white. You want to find the details that really pick you up. And
Joe, it's
here's,
quite similar to. Oh, sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, yeah, it's quite similar to when I'm drawing. I always, when a customer sends me the photo that they want drawn, I change it to black and white so I can see where the shadows and highlights are, which is essentially what you're doing here.
Yeah, basically, I'm just accentuating the shadows and the highlights, the shape of your face, a little bit more.
Yeah, I need help with that one.
So I'm just going to darken these a little bit. I'm just going to darken your lips just a little bit as well.
Okie dokie.
Just because you can see here, because this is black and white, the tone of your lips and the skin are very similar.
Yeah.
So they won't stand out a lot. So what I'm going to do is if I just darken it just a tad, can you see that because the tone's now changing, fill in the shadows a little bit more. Even in black and white, your lips are starting to stand out a little bit.
And it's basically like contouring what girls do with makeup. Like, we line our lips and put contour under our lips to make them look bigger and stuff and stand out.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar.
Yeah, it's very clever.
So I'm not going to go into too much. I'm going to do a little bit. I just want to. The brighter the image is, and the more contrast an image is, or an area of an image, that's where your eye automatically goes to as well. So I want to bring a bit more contrast to your head because that's where we want it to go. Just going to do a quick. Normally I'd take a lot more time over this, and I'll be a bit more accurate. And also my computer will be a lot quicker. So I'm just going to do this roughly how I'd normally do it.
I really never knew this was a thing.
I think this is where I can see a hairband there.
Yeah, me too.
And then even in Milo,
I thought it was safe under that jumper.
You see here where I've taken the colour out of Milo, how much his hairs look very similar. His eyes are just like coming out there. They're not. So what I'm going to do is just do a quick once over.
And he has that white stripe in the middle of his head.
Yeah, this bit here.
It's like blended in now. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really see his ears, so I'm just gonna. All I'm doing here is just adding what I call shape. It's just shaping the light a little bit so we can. Just makes you pop out. I can see his face a lot more now. Staying out of his hair, not skin. And also what I'm going to do is just go over quickly, like cheekbones a little bit.
Yes, I love that one. That's one I do myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's just copying what, a good thing for editors in Photoshop is just have a look at makeup tutorials. Find out what they're doing and the reason they're doing it, because that's where you're going to learn quite a lot. So if I just turn that on and off, this is literally just burn. I haven't done any of the highlights. The difference between those two.
Major.
So your face is already starting to pop on the image there.
That's so good.
Crazy difference. And this is just in black and white. So when I add the colour back in, it'll look even different. So let's do a bit. I'm just going to quickly go over the jumper because the jumper is the thing we're selling here. It's a fashion blog type thing. So I want the jumper to stand out as well. Normally, if this was a portrait, I might make the jumper a little bit less important. So these shadows that are in your arms, I want to give your arms some shape. So I'll add in a bit more here. So it gives the jumper a little bit more shape.
Love that. Looks great.
Oh.
Would you ever say you've had any Photoshop fails?
Oh, loads. Like I edit a photograph and then I'll look back at it and be like, I went too far. But the nice thing with Photoshop now compared to what it used to be like is everything I'm doing is non-destructive. So if I wanted to start this again and completely take it out, I could. I wouldn't need to go back to the first step. Every time I've done something and I'm happy with it, I save it and then I work on to the next step. I've got a very I think because I've been doing this for so long, I've got a very methodical process of doing it. Like the first step is getting rid of any blemishes. The second thing is sorting out the textures and the colours and the colour tones if there's any patches. And then the next thing is the dodge and burn. So because I'm very methodical about doing it, I think that helps. But sometimes even then I think, oh, it's gone too far or something's not working. So, right, so I'm happy with the way that I've done the burn here. Just made you pop just a little bit more. Even the top now pops out a little bit more. See a bit more of your shape of your arms and the body shape here as well. I might even darken this a little bit so I can really make shape.
The jumper stands out now.
Exactly. So, and then I'm going to do the highlights as well. So again, I might just see where the light's coming in. So I'm matching the natural light that's coming in. And I might just put a bit more light into here. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Again, it's all soft and gentle. It's not anything too big.
It's nothing obvious.
No, exactly.
Which I like.
Yeah, but yet when you see it with even without, it's kind of obvious. You know what I mean? Like, you'd never say it straight away.
But if you was to see the image, like, you would never know it was any different before, because it's never. It's not too much. It's very natural editing.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is just brighten up the whites of your eyes just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit, so they make them pop just a bit more.
Sleep would probably help as well.
Oh, you see my eyes. I got very recessed eyes anyway, which is why even in the camera now, like, I have to be facing the light. I've got, I always get really dark shadows, and it makes me look like I haven't slept for ages. I might just go back to burn and burn the little bit in the eyes just to make the eyes stand out. So I go around the edge here. I'm back on burn. Go around the edge and the middle. Bit in the middle. Make sure it's definitely black, and then again around the edge of the eyes. This is going to make your eyes really pop out. Okie dokie. Right, so I'm going back to the dodge.
God, I think I need this photo printed.
I think it looks actually really good in black and white, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I was thinking it looks very classic. I just think mine looks so cute. I'm gonna create a shrine for him.
So I'm just gonna add just a bit more highlights into him as well.
How do you find working with animals? What's harder, children or animals?
Depends on the parents. I think, like, animals that are behaved are generally really good, and kids that behave are generally really good. I think they come into the same fish. Like, I've had kids that are really well behaved. I've had dogs that are really well behaved, but the kids aren't.
Yeah.
It's very rare you'll get both.
Yeah.
So, okie dokie. So I'm just gonna make the jumper stand out now. I'm not gonna do too much with the dodge. You can definitely overdo it with the dodge. So all I'm doing here is increasing, just making everything pop a little bit more. Now I'm not going to do too much to the bottom half of this image because I want the top half to come out. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second as well anyway. Right, so this is the image as it stands at the moment. So now I'm going to take out the black and white filter. So this is now back in colour. So this is after the dodge and burn, and this is before.
Oh my god.
Now I'll even say that with the burn I've gone a little bit too far. But you can see how much I'm shaping the light, like around your chin here, across the side of your hair. The hair, I'm really trying to shape things that I want to shape. That's what dodge and burn. Even in Milo here, you know.
Yeah.
Like even his face is a lot more.
His fur stands out more.
Yeah.
It looks more like definitioned.
Yeah, exactly.
Defined.
Defined and definition. That's what we're going for. Even in like the eyes, under the eyes here, you can actually see. To go back to the original, a lot more defined. That's what I'm basically trying to do.
So much better.
I might even bring down the burn a little bit because it's probably got a bit too far for this. But look how much more, I don't know, shaped your face looks now. Take it off.
Doesn't look so flat. Yeah.
Your eyes are popping out as well.
Yeah, that's great.
It looks a little bit more detailed, I think. It was good. So that's the dodge and burn. The next thing I generally do is find the area that I want to highlight. So obviously here I want to highlight your face, Milo, and the top. So I kind of like the focus here. So what I do is just select this here. My internet is connection is unstable. It's gone away now. And then I go to curves, inverse that, and then all I'm going to do is bring it down. So obviously this is very crude. I'm going to change it in a second. You can see how I'm darkening everything else, but you're light.
It's like we've been brought forward.
Yeah, and then this line here, I'm just going to soften out. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is obviously extreme, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring this back. So you can barely, I can bring it back until the point where I think it's the original image still, but it's not. Probably around about there. So if I take that in and out now, all I'm doing is darkening the other areas. Because like I mentioned before, your eye, when you're taking photographs, even for Instagram, so people are watching this for taking photographs on Instagram, your eye will automatically go to the brightest thing. So if you're standing next to a bright light, your eye, the viewer's eyes, it automatically going to go to the bright light, not you. So you kind of want the brightest thing and the thing with the most contrast as well, to be the thing that you want people to look at first. So here I've added more contrast to your face using dodge and burn. And now I've darkened everything else. So the brightest thing for sure is now your face. Yeah. So if you were to turn away and then look back at it, the first thing you're going to look at is your face. Because that's the brightest thing now. I would probably even go far as to say I'm going to go around here. Because this bit is still too bright for me. Darken this bit as well. So there's a little bit of a lag because my computer's doing so much. And Photoshop uses so much power on its own. Again, I'm going to bring that back down. And also, once you've done this a few times, you kind of know roughly where the setting's going to be.
Yeah.
So what do you think so far?
How long do you reckon it would... Oh, sorry. I love it so far. I think it's great. Like I said, it's very natural edits that you're doing, which is what I like. I don't like it when it's too overly edited that you can tell. But all these things that you're doing are completely transforming it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's great. It is good.
Cool. You're going to ask how long would I normally take to edit a photograph? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was going to say, how long did it take you to, learn what everything was for and, not perfect your editing, but, get a hold of...
I think you're kind of, I think you're always trying to learn. I'm even now, I'm still doing a course on high-end editing. So there's certain things that still come out. Photoshop, every time they bring out a new version, which is once a year, and then updates throughout the year, At least they at least do about 4 to 5 big updates a year and one massive one a year. So there's always new tools that come out with that. And I'm always looking, oh, is this tool going to be something that's really useful for me, or is it just something I'm going to completely ignore? I think too many people use the phrase, if it's not broken, then why fix it? Well, if that was the case, we'd still be riding horses. I think,
exactly.
You know,
you have to move forward, don't you?
Exactly. It's, if there's something that's going to save me time, then I'm interested at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So one thing I've noticed here is your eyes are still. I want to bring out the color. So now I've done got rid of the blemishes. I'm happy with the tones in the skin. Oh, it's just stalled for a second. I'm happy with the tones in the skin, and I've now done the dodge and burn. This is the kind of, well, the dodge and burn is quite creative. Now this is the creative part where I go into color toning. So this is where we can completely retone the image.
Okay.
It hasn't crashed.
I love that part. I do that on my images with Lightroom, but obviously it's very basic compared to what you're about to do. But I do enjoy that.
So I don't know what's happening here. It's kind of crashed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly save this, close Photoshop, and then restart Photoshop. It sometimes does this if I do too much of one. So I'm just going to close Photoshop. I've saved it, and then I'm just going to reopen it. Has anyone got any questions? If you're watching either on the Zoom call or on YouTube, have you got any questions so far? And if you want to ask Lauren, now's your time to ask Lauren anything about influencing or anything like that as well. Then put it in the comments.
Yeah, I'm monitoring the comments now, so.
I'm just going to reopen Photoshop. It sometimes does this. Photoshop it uses so much more power than it used to that a bit weird. Has issues, especially with my computer. It's a bit old now.
We actually got the inspo for this shot. I think I found it on Instagram, didn't I? And I brought it forward to you, and I was like, this could be a great idea. I have a similar jumper that I've been sent. Obviously, I just got Milo, who was the same as a Pomeranian in the photo, and it just looks so cool. I thought, yeah, we could definitely pull this off.
Yeah, I think you've got to take inspiration from loads of places. Pinterest, which I also call lady porn, is a great place to get inspiration from as well. So what I'm just going to do Pinterest here is bring up the color in your eyes.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like the color in my eyes can get lost sometimes on shoots, and they appear like very dull and dark.
Yeah, one of the things sometimes you can do if you're starting out with Photoshop is actually have a bit more of a game plan. So if you actually go through the image and find things that you want to do, like, oh, there's a few skin spots here, the eyes aren't as bright as I hoped to, the shadows weren't quite right here, so I want to bring them up or bring them down. I want to bring some more shape to the face. Sometimes with some lighting, depending on the way the model's moved, whether you're facing the light, facing in and out of the light, the shape of the face might look completely. Have a game plan. If it's something that you always like doing. Like I said, I've now got a process of how I do this. So what I want to do here is bring up the saturation. So got this bluey grey colour to your eyes there. So by the way, I actually use a pen. For anyone that's interested, I actually use a pen to edit with, not a mouse. So if you do this for too long,
I didn't even notice that.
Your wrist gets really tired out. So,
do you find it's easier with the pen then?
Oh, far easier. Once you get used to it. It took me a long time to get used to it. But it saves your wrist, like when you're using a mouse all day, especially this finer detail. Here you go. All I've done is bring up blues in your eyes a little bit. Just subtle differences. Make them a little bit brighter. And what I'm also going to do is increase the contrast. as well. There you go. So your eyes are really standing out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to stand out too much because we don't want to distract from the rest of the image. If it was just a headshot, then yeah, like the other one we did, was really good. That.
Oh, the dark background one.
The dark background one, yeah.
Mm.
Cool, and then yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now this is the. I'm not going to do too much with the color tone. This is this new tool I've got, which is really cool, called Infinite Color panel, and it's been made by people that know about color and work on color all the time. And all you have to do is hit create, and it starts creating different color effects. So, and you can layer it up. You can put like one color effect on top of the other. Now, I want this to be quite subtle, and I can turn off different features here. So I'm going to put this on light. I don't want the color to be overpowering because this is quite a soft image compared to some of the ones we did.
It is.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be
I agree.
too overpowering. Plus, I want to kind of keep a bit of the grey in the jumper, so I'm going to change this to light. Now I'm going to hit create, and it just creates a new colour for us. And then we can keep going through this, and you can let me know what you like as well. So here this added a bluey green colour, which is not too bad. I think probably what I'd do is we could tone this down a little bit, like that. Actually, I don't mind that option. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you know more about it than I do.
It's generally personal taste here, I think. But it adds that kind of finished look to it.
Yeah.
Quite cool. So what I can do is I can save this as number 1, and then I'm going to turn that off, and then we can go and have a look. I'm going to hit create again. What do you think of that colour?
Yeah, that's quite cool. I've been using this filter called on Visco. I don't know what it's quite called, but I've got like a new theme for my Instagram feed, and it's all kind of like muted, like cool tone colours.
Okay, so a bit like this. This is a bit cooler.
So like, or is it cool? It's quite warm, to be fair. No, it's not cool. It's quite warm.
Okay, so we're going to keep going.
I don't know if I can.
Again. Basically, you can keep hitting create. I don't like that one. That's not my cup of tea. So you can keep hitting create until you get something that works. You like. It's all right.
I don't know if this describes better, like the kind of muted grey, but also quite warm in places.
Oh, okay, that's quite cool. So what this is actually doing is it analyzes the photograph itself and brings in some color. I quite like this, except for one of the ready color on your face. So I can turn. Yeah. Gives me a lot more control. I think it's just that one. Oh, that looks quite good in there. I like that. Oh, I think it's that. That's the one I don't like. I can delete. So basically, you've got different sections, so you can delete certain things. Quite cool. And then I think this basically it's kind of a little bit cheating because it gives you some really good color variants, but it just makes the image look a little bit more finished.
Yeah,
I quite like this one.
I like that one too.
So this kind of like filters on Instagram or something like that, but a lot more advanced. Yeah. And you can literally, I can play around with this for hours and come up with different colors and stuff like that. And you can layer on top of each other as well. Quite cool. So I could put this one on top of that one. And you can do like different colours for faces compared to. So if I zoom in on this, how cool does the colour on that look actually?
I like that a lot.
Like it's brought out the colour in your face and it's given it some contrast against the blue. But yet the jumper's still grey.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So this is,
I do like that
this
one.
is after, this is before. This is before I did any of the colour stuff. And this is after.
That was very cool.
It's really cool.
Just makes it look finished.
And normally when I'm doing this myself, like by hand, it takes me ages. But it just adds that professional colour finish to it. There we go. So apart, I don't think there's anything else I would normally do to this photograph. To be fair, I'm just going to double check the histogram to make sure it's too dark or not too bright. Just going to take a second. And then I'm going to compare it to what we started with to what the finished product is. There you go. So what do you think of the finished photograph?
I love it. Yeah, I do like it a lot. And I like that feature how you can play around with different tones. And, you know, so say if you was using this and you was an influencer on Instagram, a lot of girls have themes.
Yeah.
So you could literally play around and find the theme for you, you know, with the colouring.
Well, normally what I would...
But no, I loved it.
What I'd normally do is if, obviously we've got a lot of photographs from this setup. What I'd do is I'd save the colour theme from this and then apply it to all of them, so they all look like part of a set, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
Like we did with the coffee shop shoot, is we had different sets. We had 3 different sets and they're all coloured very similarly, so it looked like the same basically. So that's what we ended up with when we're coming out of Photoshop, and this is what we started with. So if I zoom in, you'll see the difference. So if I zoom in just on your face here, so this is how we started, and this is what we finished with.
Such a big difference.
Your eyes are really popping. You've got a bit more contrast in there. Hairs look different, colours better, and even Milo's face,
more defined.
Is a lot more defined.
Yeah, you can really see like the definition in his fur.
I'd probably even go back over this again and put a bit more definition in this darker areas, because he's quite soft compared to you now. Because of the colouring. I'd probably, do you know what I'd do? Because this colouring, the nice thing about the way this colouring works is, yeah, I think it's this one. Washing it out. I can actually take this away from certain areas. So the colour doesn't have to go over the whole image. I can just add it to, say, the skin tones or the background, which is quite cool. It's on a go slow now. So I'm just going to take this colour away from his face, and the detail's coming back now. There we go. I'll take the colour away from his face because it's actually detrimental. Cool. So that's the finished image.
I like that. I do really love how that's turned out. I mean, I like all your work. I don't know too much about editing, so you know, I just trust what you go for. But no, it's definitely good.
As long as you like the end result, that's the main thing.
Yeah, I do love it.
You know, I could play around with this for ages, and I think the colour tones work in this for me. I think I could probably play around with your lip colour a little bit, but you know, probably wouldn't. I don't know if I would or not. but literally I can get lost in Photoshop editing these kind of photographs for a long time, and then that's why it takes me so long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten this, save it, and then what I can do is post it up on Instagram, and you can post it up on your Instagram just to say to people what we've done.
I'd love that.
But for those that are watching, we're not going to end just now. If anyone's got any questions and wants to join us on the Zoom call, I'm going to stay on the Zoom call for a little bit longer, so you can ask any questions you want on the Zoom call. We can have a little chat afterwards, just on how everything's gone in the edit. But is that eye-opening for you guys? Is that eye-opening for you, Lauren?
Definitely for me. I mean, I've never really seen the whole editing process from this point of view. I mean, I do basic edits on my own photos, but they're nowhere near as advanced as this. So it's just really interesting for me to watch, and I've actually learned from this.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to bring it back full screen now. Yeah, it's interesting. I think maybe if people had a little bit of a background in what the process is afterwards, I don't know if it would help or not from a modeller's perspective. I guess obviously now it would for you guys. We have got a message in the chat, believe it or not. Have you got YouTube running as well in the background? Might have the sound coming out from there. Okay. Yeah, it's not in there. That's right. It's an old message. We managed to fix it.
I've had no new ones come through.
No, it's an old message, so it's all right. So if anyone wants to, Lauren, you might have to do it. If you want to put the Zoom link in the YouTube comments again. So we're going to open up the Zoom call now. I'm going to end the live stream onto YouTube, and then if anyone wants to have a chat afterwards or has any questions, they can join the Zoom call. They won't be live, because I know a lot of people when they're live or we're broadcasting this, they don't want to ask questions. So we'll keep it offline. Anonymous, yeah. So people can come and join us. So Lauren's just put in the comments the link. That's the wrong one, Lauren. That's the that's the thing for YouTube.
Oh, sorry guys. Right.
It'll be in your Instagram message from me.
Oh, got you. I'm not too good with technology, so you have to excuse me.
Well, this is the first time we've done it as well. So obviously we started a little bit later than we were expecting. We've taken a little bit longer because we had some audio issues. I was thinking this probably might last an hour and a half at most. But whilst Lauren's doing that, if you don't follow Lauren already, hers is Loz_night_ on Instagram, and mine is Bewley's Life, which is Bewley's_life.
There we go. I think that's
put it
on
on there now.
Yeah, I believe so.
Cool. Yeah, the link to the Zoom chat is now open. So what we're going to do, we're going to end this YouTube video. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to Lauren's YouTube channel. You've only been doing it.
It's a bit there at the moment.
You've only been doing YouTube for about a year. And this is the first YouTube live.
Yeah, it is. So I'm very excited. I mean, I went live the other day accidentally. I didn't realise it published. Everyone messaged me like, why have you got a 6-second live video? And I was like, oh, it wasn't meant to go live. But I've got lots of new content that I've been editing. I've got a vlog from Paris. I've got a few try-on hauls with me working with brands, showing you the items I've been sent, and Ryan also rating them. So I've got more content coming. But yeah.
Cool. Well, anyone that's interested, please join us on the Zoom call now. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we're going to do another one of these, or I will be on my YouTube anyway. I hope this has been very informative. Even the conversation from a photographer's point of view, Lauren, is quite good as well. So, but yeah, come and join us on the Zoom call. It's not going to be broadcasted, so don't worry about that at all. But yeah, catch you soon. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.